Good morning, guys. I'm sorry, I was about to run late. I set this thing up like 2 hours ago, and I thought, that'll give me enough time, but I uploaded the original video that we're going to share. I was working on the thumbnail now, but that's okay. I can change that. I can work on that as the video plays because I didn't see the video twice. Okay, before I play this video, a couple things. I just wanted to go over with you guys real quick. A couple of quick thoughts I had. Let me cut the light on. I'm sorry. I don't know what that noise was. I ain't never heard that noise. Oh, my knees are killing me. It's been raining here the last couple of days, and my arthritis has bothered me. Okay. Now. Okay, so you guys can hear me okay for now, right? I know we haven't started a video yet. Okay, so the video that was last night, and the guy that was speaking in that video last night, I don't know who he is. I don't think he's the guy I'm speaking to. The guy with the accent, he's not the person I know. I think that the person I know is local. I don't know. It gets confusing when you know a lot of people online. So real quick, I want to speak to you guys that are in here because I appreciate you going over this with me into the discussion because I am going to release it later for anybody that wants to watch it and don't want to hear me stop it. I'm not going to stop it a lot. I don't think I stopped it a lot last night. And I just want to clarify a few things. As you watch this in the beginning, it kind of seems like, they're being, like Meghan's not complying and stuff. But even if she wasn't, which I know she is, this is my thoughts here. Who gave them the authority to tell people how to parent and on what basis? And then also, have they ever applied for a psych exam? And all these people that are accusing her, have they all been through a psych exam in their lives? Especially if they've got children. And then, and I wanted to make a clarification last night. I was saying the bio dad, that she's moved in with him. No, she hasn't moved in with him, but she is spend the oldest child is starting to get to spend the night with him and have unsupervised visits with him. And this is someone that has never been in her life, but like the last year. Okay. And then I think that's about all I want to say right now. Okay, I will stop it. Now, first I'm going to speak to you guys, and then we'll get into the video. Okay, so we got Shirley, we got Lori, Dragonette, and Bonnie, and Twyla, and Tracy, and Co. Is that word, videos. Toe for Life, and John, and wow, X Havoc. Is that what that would be? X Havoc from Australia. Appreciate it, guys. Okay, so let me pull this video up really quickly. And this time I want to make sure I got the volume up, since we learned that from our good friend Snapface yesterday. That's why we were having volume problems, because the YouTube volume went up. So this is my video. Whoops, I shared the wrong thing. Hold on. Alright. Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay. My allergies are bothering me too. That's another thing. When the rain comes in, it stirs your damn allergies up like crazy down here. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I gotta go to the studio because I haven't released that video yet. It was still rendering. It's rendered, but it hasn't been through their little checks yet. But it will be. I will have it uploaded later. Probably later today. Okay. If not soon. Okay, so we're going to watch the hearing from yesterday morning. I asked you guys to give prayers, positive thoughts, whatever it is you do. And we're going to see the hearing. Well, I can tell you this, she didn't go home with the baby. Nah, we know that. I don't want to give it all away before you see it, you know? I want us to take our time and look at it and see. I want to see how you guys, what you think about this. Okay, so now I've got it ready to go. I've just got to share it with you guys, and I'm going to let it play. And then when I feel like I must break to make a point or something, or to see if you guys find something interesting, and also put them in the comments. I'll try to pay more attention to the comments than I usually do. When I go back, I see you guys come up with so many good things, and y'all are trying to tell me important stuff. That's why I really could use like a producer, somebody to help me with stuff like that. But we don't have one right now, so we're going to do it like we've been doing it. We had help that one night with Jamie, and we've had help in the past. Other people have helped us, like Caucasian Sasquatch, Toe for Life, and Road Dogs. Okay, so I'm going to hit play. I'm going to make it full screen. Now, this isn't, look, this is screen recorded, so this guy didn't get it quite from the beginning. So, we got what we got. Let's make sure we get the volume up.
Agreement with the diagnoses?
What the hell happened? Okay.
Agreement with the diagnoses?
She was not in agreement with the diagnoses. I believe she's in agreement with the recommendation for therapy, but not the diagnoses.
Real quickly, guys, before that's loud and clear, right? It sounds very loud to me. Just want to make sure with you guys before we play it. Y'all could hear that? Thank you for dropping my donation links. I appreciate it. Crofty. Yeah, and for this panel, yeah, drop my donation links. And after this is done, I will do what I did yesterday. I don't know if you guys looked at it. I listed all of Meghan's links, because Meghan also has like a change.org. Okay, good, y'all can hear it. She also has Twitter, and I also wanted to put a couple websites in there. So after this video renders, I will have all of the ways you can help Meghan, even the free ways, like signing the change.org petition, okay? So, those will all be there later. So, and it's so long, you couldn't drop it in a YouTube comment. So for now, just drop mine, but I will share Meghan's, I promise, when I'm done. Okay, so back to that loud and clear. I think I might have it right this time. Thanks again. Shout out to Snapphase. I know he ain't here right now, but we appreciate him. Okay, to the video, to the hearing. Y'all pay attention and write down notes. What do you find unconstitutional or egregious as this hearing goes through? And the DA or whatever she is, she's the worst, it seems to me. Okay, mute me now.
And was there an issue in terms of whether or not she would participate in medication management?
At that point, they didn't recommend medication management just because they didn't finish the evaluation due to the disagreement with the recommendation of the diagnoses.
Okay. And so when Ms. Walsh told you yesterday she's identified an individual provider, have you received all of the information pertaining to that provider so that you can look up their credentials, make sure they're appropriately licensed, and also provide them with information necessary to treat her in this dependency case?
So the information was received late yesterday, but she did provide me with the website, the provider's name, and agency, so that I can call and gather that information. And there is an appointment scheduled for individual therapy, but I do need to go and check and make sure that that provider will meet the credentials so that it can count for the case plan.
Okay. And how are they providing individual therapy if the evaluation wasn't fully completed at Legacy because of the disagreement between Ms. Walsh and the provider?
They haven't provided therapy at this point. They did schedule an initial appointment. I am not sure, because I have not had contact with them, what information they are privy to at this point. So they may not even be privy to the evaluation at Legacy.
Is it fair to say that the information that you have at this point is all reported by Ms. Walsh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And do you have the name of that provider handy?
If you give me 1 second, she texted to my phone. I can pull that up.
Okay.
April Chapel, Growing in Grace.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Rozier, you were supervising the case prior to Esther's birth, is that correct?
I was supervising the case prior to Esther's birth, yes.
One more quick interruption. I am almost done with the thumbnail for this, so I'm not going to be paying attention for like 2 or 3 more minutes, and then I'll start paying attention to chat, okay? So y'all type away in there, but just know that I'm trying to finish the thumbnail, okay? And then I'm listening, and but I'm just not really looking at chat, okay? Just letting you know. I like to be transparent.
And so you're familiar with the challenges that led to the termination in the case of the siblings?
I am.
I'm objecting to the relevancy of anything that has to do with the siblings. Her parental rights were terminated.
Just for 1 second, I totally agreed to this. The first time I watched this, I was in the background yelling, I object. Okay, back to the video.
Well, it doesn't sound like she's doing any of the things that I ordered her to do. So I'm going to overrule the objection. We need to hear about why, because the case plan was the same, and we're still here, and now going on 2 years, and we still haven't gotten an evaluation, and the court is very concerned with that.
I understand, Your Honor. However, if I may, at Legacy, they did a 15-minute Zoom meeting with my client and diagnosed her. That is really not realistic.
And I'm not going to play the games anymore.
No, I know, but
this is getting ridiculous. Every time we send her to a provider, she wants to go to a different provider, or this provider isn't good enough because she doesn't like him, or she thinks that this, or she thinks that's that. This is not about Meghan and what Meghan thinks. This is about the law, and this is don't start with me. This is about getting Meghan through this and making sure that her and baby Esther are reunified. I have been trying to make it my life's work in this particular position to get Meghan to where she can be with her baby, and it's not going to work again.
Okay, why? Why does he care so much that she get this baby back? If I'm not saying he really cares, why? Is it a guilty conscience? Is it because you know you were wrong to take the other ones? I mean, why wasn't yours life's work to try to make sure she got the first ones? And I know I haven't been looking at the comments yet, but they had no business bringing the first 3 in these. This is supposed to be 2 separate cases. And the reason they done it this way is so they could adopt the other ones out in their plan and put this one on a year plan. Okay? So that makes no sense. And I don't think he should got to bring nothing up, because if you're really going to give, if you're proclaiming that, you know, and this, they just terminated the rights to other ones just a few months ago. If she would have had everything done per se that they wanted to do, they'd have gave her the baby, okay? And if she gets it done, I think they will give her the baby. She's right there at it, and part of shit ain't even her fault. And like, we'll get to it later, but you know, it's like, this is like, what would make you think that in 2 or 3 months later she's okay for a newborn, but she wasn't okay to take care of 3? It makes no sense. And if it don't make no sense, it's not usually true. Okay, so we'll go back to the video.
It's the same train. It's the same light at the end of the tunnel. It's the same train with the light that's going to run over you, Meghan, if you don't get this done. You have got, all you've got to do is go to where they say go, answer the questions that they want you to answer, and be done with it.
Just comply.
And do what they ask you to do.
No matter what they
Instead
call
of
you.
you thinking you know everything and you need to go to this provider or that provider or change this or change that. As far as the medical marijuana, I think that anybody.
Okay, he's fixing it into some bullshit right here, but don't we have the right to pick our own providers?
It's in a dependency case, should not be allowed to have a medical marijuana card.
She has cancer.
Yes, that is on the record. The blue man is on, and I will say it again if I have to. It is absolutely ridiculous to put somebody on a regiment to where we're trying to get them off of drugs, but then we give them a medical marijuana card to.
Biased much? Biased much? And then earlier he said, it seems to me. It doesn't matter what it seems to you. You need to know what the facts are, dear judge. He's just speaking his one aim eye right on the bench. I know judges could say certain things, but damn it, man. But they want her to treat it. She has cancer on her nose. They want her to treat it the way everybody else does. She don't want to do that, and I don't blame her.
Smoke marijuana, that makes about as much sense as I don't know what. And in this particular case, we have been fighting with Meghan to get her provider of her medical marijuana. Now we've got a provider, we think, but that's only because Meghan says that we do. We don't have anybody here to tell me how much medical marijuana she's supposed to have. Her tests that she's testing, we can't test her levels of medical marijuana because she could be taking medical marijuana and then be smoking 4 times as much, but we don't know because we don't know how much she's getting from her provider. So there's little holes in everything that Meghan does, and she thinks she's fooling me. You're not fooling me, Mother Nature. I got you. Everything that we do, you leave little points out.
You're not fooling me, Mother Nature. Yeah, he's on a power trip. First of all, so again, they have a problem with the way she parents. They had problem with the way she medicates. Okay. If I had, I'm not gonna get into this, but people have the right, certain rights. It's not even the kids' health we're talking about here. We're talking about her nose, okay? And he's gonna say about marijuana, but he'd rather her go on radiation or chemo. Because it's all about the big Benjamins, baby. And it's not his business. That's her body. We're not even talking about the children. And he's on a power trip. And listen closely, though, when they start talking about this. And who is, it's by law now that you can have medical marijuana. So, back to the video. We're going to discuss some more things about this in a minute because he's going to change his position some because they're going to prove that some of these facts aren't already known. Yeah, it's full. It sure does, Betty. Barb's. I'm sorry. Okay, back to the video. Help if I go to the right spot. Okay, here we go, guys.
Now, it is absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know who Sylvia is, but I'm going to put you out. Thank you very much. You're not going to play the games with the court anymore. You're going to be ordered to go to places. You're going to be ordered just like everybody else in a dependency case. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're going to lose this child too. And I do not want that to happen. I don't know what it's going to take to get you to understand You are not in charge of this situation. And if you want to get in charge of this situation, you will do as this court asks. You've appealed it to everywhere. Your attorneys have gone to the 4th DCA and everything else. Guess what? Your appeals were all denied. What does that mean? You've got to do.
Okay, just because, okay, her appeal was denied because she had prepared it all by herself and it wasn't quite ready. But it doesn't mean that's giving him that he's thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get away with this. But just because it's been taken there once and it wasn't done correctly, oh, it can be done again, baby. So don't get so high and mighty, Mr. Meadows, that worked for the Indian River County Sheriff's Office for 16 years, but now he's somehow a judge.
Do what this court says. I'm not asking you to do anything that we haven't asked anybody else to do. For some reason, you think you're special.
You know what? Your Honor, if
Well,
I may, I did do a full
I
evaluation.
don't need any explanation. I'm going to tell you this. DCF is going to give you the names of providers. You are to get these evaluations done. We have been running around these bases. We've already taken away 3 children. We're on number 4. If you want that one taken away also, keep on going. Partial compliance isn't even close here because there's a hole in every single thing that you've been asked to do.
I have done every evaluation, Your Honor, and I was told that I could have a private provider, and I have found that. This is not being
a private provider doesn't mean just somebody out there that says they practice in this. They've got to be a licensed expert.
She is an expert in IT. I'm sorry.
I don't care about expert. They got to be licensed in the practice of psychology.
Yes,
she is. Not what Meghan thinks. Not what Meghan thinks.
This is not about what I think, with all due respect, under God, Your Honor. I have done everything that I have been told to do. I have done the evaluations. That testimony is incorrect.
If you've done the evaluation, then where is it? Why is it not here on my desk where I can see that Meghan's done the evaluation, where you go in and all those things, the tests that we sat through this whole trial and listened to, that you were supposed to go and do all that paperwork? Where is it?
Your Honor, I
have done everything.
Excuse me, Megan, stop, please. Miss Rosier, I believe she did do the test. You're waiting for the results, correct?
And my levels are checked every week for marijuana. My levels are checked, and it's been testified on the prior case to that.
You're the only one that's told us that we have no testimony from anybody. You
Allison Armstrong.
We thank you for telling us who you're buying your marijuana from, but we don't know how much you're buying.
I have a legal prescription, Your Honor, that I'm tested, and Allison Armstrong under oath on testimony on the last case testified that I test regularly twice a week under the levels that I'm even prescribed, Your Honor. This is horribly misconstrued.
It's horribly misconstrued. You're the only one testifying to that. Where is this doctor to testify that you're under the level? I have signed. You're the only one telling us this. I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
May I ask?
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Rosier, based on what you know of the past case and where we are today, have you seen any progress or any change in the behavior of Ms. Walsh?
The progress that I have seen is in the prior case. I know that there was not a compliance in regards to doing the parental capacity assessment. As stated in the judicial review, the mother has completed the 2 appointments for the parental capacity evaluation, and we are waiting for that report. The provider wants to observe one of mom's visits and is set to do that next Wednesday. And I anticipate us having the report 2 weeks after that, because we're at 4 weeks since she's done that evaluation at this point. So that is the improvement that I've seen from this case to the last case in regards to the parental capacity evaluation.
Okay. Otherwise, have you seen any change in her behavior?
The mother still visits consistently. She's obtained housing and income. I think the only issue is just getting a new provider in place of Legacy. She did go to that appointment, but then wanted a new provider. So making sure that that is done.
Okay. I don't have any additional questions, Your Honor, for Ms. Rosier, and I would tender the witness.
Thank you. Mr. Bocus.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Rosier, you able to hear me?
I am.
Good morning. With regard to the psychiatric evaluation, you spoke about the psychiatric evaluation for legacy not being completed. You also just testified about the in-progress parental capacity where the evaluator has to observe Ms. Walsh and then the report will be provided a couple weeks after. The question is this: clarify for me about the psychiatric evaluation in particular. Was I incorrect when I heard that that was not yet complete, or has that been completed?
So it is not yet completed. After, I think right around the time of the trial, the mother agreed to work with Legacy. And so I submitted an updated referral in September. The mother did complete the intake. They did a biopsychosocial. I did not get documentation about the evaluation. They did report that they discharged the mother because she wanted to find a separate provider because she did not agree with the diagnoses that they'd had for her. So their only recommendation from that biopsychosocial was individual counseling. So I don't have the updated psychiatric evaluation.
So your understanding from conversing with Legacy is that there was still more evaluation to be completed before Ms. Walsh was discharged for not agreeing with the diagnosis. Is that accurate?
Yes, just the psychiatric evaluation piece, just because of the disagreement regarding the diagnoses.
So we don't know if there may have been medication management recommended because that portion of the evaluation wasn't completed, yes?
Objection is to speculation.
Overruled.
Thank you. And that was a yes to my question, Ms. Rocher?
Yeah, that's correct. We're not aware of any recommendations outside of the individual counseling because they were not able to finish that portion.
Thank you, ma'am. No additional questions, Judge.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Mandel, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Rosier, has Ms. Walsh been in contact with you constantly?
Yes, we communicate on a daily basis.
Okay, do you believe, in your experience in knowing Ms. Walsh, that she is definitely trying harder than she did in the last case?
I think we have a ways to go. I think I've seen more effort in this portion of the case.
Okay, when you say you've seen more effort, how so?
The mother actually completed the parental capacity evaluation as opposed to going to appointments and not completing the evaluation.
Okay, and has the mother obtained housing at this point?
The mother has obtained housing. I've done a virtual walkthrough.
Okay, and was that satisfactory?
I didn't, from the virtual walkthrough, I did not observe any concerns. Of course, when we get to that piece, an actual home study will need to be done by that county.
She does. So no, you can't do that because she's not in your county anymore?
She's not in our county, correct?
Okay. What have you asked her to do that she has not done?
The mother's outstanding items on her case plan, without me directly referring to the notes, are just the psychiatric evaluation, just because she wanted to find a separate provider. And then she did complete the substance abuse evaluation. It was stated in the judicial review. There were no initial recommendations from that evaluation. However, they did recommend ongoing drug screens. And if she tested positive, then there was to be an updated substance abuse evaluation. If you remember during the trial—
I'm sorry if I might interrupt. Test positive for what? I'm sorry.
Any substances. So the recommendation was that there was no recommendation for substance abuse treatment, but that she continue ongoing random drug screens. If there was any positive drug test, then they wanted her to do an updated substance abuse evaluation. As we testified during the trial, there was one positive outside of the medical marijuana August 8th for opiates and alcohol. And I did try to get the records from the provider, but however, mom still testified admitted to not taking the medication as prescribed, and there still was a positive for alcohol. And so an updated substance abuse evaluation is needed for that.
Okay, and do you have a provider for her already to go take that substance abuse evaluation?
Yes, we do. It's the same provider that did the initial evaluation, same provider that mom does her random drug screen. I know that she was going to chat with her counsel before making a decision about the updated substance abuse evaluation.
Okay, do you feel that at this point, with all the progress Meghan has made, do you think she's a danger to having unsupervised visitation?
I mean, wow, you know? So They don't like that she smokes weed with a legal prescription through True Leave. She had to tell them, yeah, and why can't she have alcohol once in a while? It's ridiculous. Don't worry, because SJD, I'm gonna this one will be up, and then I'm gonna release the whole hearing without me interrupting or without us having any discussion. But this is egregious, and I'm so glad people actually got to get in the courtroom this time, because it's okay. This is what happened with MeghanWalsh in court yesterday, and yeah, it's crazy. Back to the video. We'll discuss more in a little bit.
Visitation with baby Esther.
I think as previously stated, before I can make that recommendation, I need to see what the parental capacity evaluation recommends to make sure that we're on track with the services we've already identified.
Okay, I just want to make sure though, Ms. Walsh has nothing more to do with that parental capacity. She has done her part.
Yeah, she's done her part for the parental capacity evaluation, and it's just the updated substance abuse evaluation, and that's seeing what those recommendations are from the parental capacity and the substance abuse evaluation, and then her completing that psychiatric evaluation.
Okay, and when you speak to her on the phone, you said you're in communication a lot. Is she respectful?
Yeah, I haven't had any concerns with my communication with Ms. Walsh.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Very briefly, Ms. Rozier, you said there's nothing left for Ms. Walsh to do as it relates to the parental capacity, but in honesty, she has to appear with Esther so that she can be observed by the evaluator. Is that correct?
She does. Mom has been consistent in her visitation, so the provider just wants to come and observe her during one of the visits so that she can include that in her evaluation.
Okay, but that is something that Ms. Walsh is going to have to participate in.
Yes, as long as the mother is there, that piece is able to be completed on next Wednesday, and she's aware of the day and time.
And you said that Ms. Walsh, her response to your request for her to do the substance abuse evaluation was she would need to speak to her counsel.
There was a disagreement on the need for updated substance abuse evaluation, so I had to explain to her that the recommendations from the previous evaluation was that if there were any positive tests, that a new one was needed. I think there was some concern that just an additional task was being added to the mother as opposed to it being a part of the court order.
And I understand that, but my point is you have at least put out there to Ms. Walsh that this needs to be done, and as of yet, she's not done it, correct?
That's correct as of now, yes.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any follow-up from any of the parties?
Yes, Your Honor. Oh.
Ms. Mandel?
Yes. The substance abuse evaluation, have you set up an appointment for her?
So it's not a new referral needed. She's already seeing that provider for her drug screens. All that is needed is an actual call between me, the mother, and the provider. They ask her the intake questions, and then they set the actual evaluation up.
So is it possible for you guys to make that phone call today after this hearing?
It is possible for us to do. Mom is actually waiting to start her visitation, so it is possible for us to do it after her visitation today, yes.
Fair enough, fair enough. And do you see Mom progressing?
I see that she has done a parental capacity, so I see a little bit more effort. We just need to continue to see the consistency to get where we need to get in regards to reunifying Esther and Mom on this case.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Department?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to take judicial notice of the information provided through the Department of Health as it relates to the provider named by Ms. Walsh, April Chappell. And I'm specifically asking the court to take notice of the fact that April Chappell is identified as a licensed mental health counselor. And I'm asking the court to do that because it's been my experience that, and we have referred Ms. Walsh to a psychiatrist for a psychiatric evaluation. A licensed mental health counselor would not meet that criteria and therefore is not an approved provider for that piece. She could certainly do counseling, but she cannot do the psychiatric evaluation required in this case.
Thank you.
I don't have any additional witnesses, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bokus. Your
Yes,
case.
Your Honor. Just very briefly, I have a couple of questions for Ms. Abate. Could she be permitted to answer questions from the table?
Yes. Swear the witness.
This is the guardian ad litem for the child.
Please be seated. Good morning. Good morning. Ms. Abate, did you file a guardian ad litem office judicial review report for today's hearing?
Yes, I did.
Any updates or corrections to that?
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to mute me, not that.
No.
Okay, now were you able to hear the testimony today from dependency case manager LaChristie Rosier?
Yes.
Anything that you can add that would clarify or supplement her testimony?
No, nothing additional.
Do you understand, do you agree with Ms. Rosier's assessment that we're impartial, that Ms. Walsh is in partial compliance?
Yes.
Okay, and you're in agreement with maintaining the reunification case plan and the case plan goal date
Yes.
and supervised visitation?
Yes, at this time.
Is there anything that Esther needs right now for which she's not being provided?
No, she's doing wonderful.
Anything else that we have to talk about this family?
No.
Okay, no additional questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Department. Your witness.
I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Mandel, your witness.
Yes, ma'am. How many times have you witnessed Miss Walsh with baby Esther?
I met her the first time back in October, I want to say, and I was there for a few minutes. But then about a week or so ago, I spent about an hour and a half with her and Esther.
Okay, and so you observed the two of them interacting?
Yes.
And how were their interactions?
Very positive. She's very good with the baby.
And why are you concerned about, why do you feel supervised visitation is still necessary?
We still need the recommendations back from her evaluations and for her to engage in that therapy.
But do you have any concerns when you see the two together?
Not specifically, no. But it's
Nothing?
only been in an office setting for,
Have you checked out her house where she's moved to, Miss Walsh's house?
no, not yet.
And when do you plan on doing that?
When reunification is closer, I will make an appointment with her.
I have two problems with that. One, if she's in the best interest of the child, because that's what the guardian ad litem's for, okay, they're supposed to be completely impartial. I wouldn't care what Meghan said or DCF, which one of them cared or was ready to take that baby back to the home study. I'd be out there doing that home study first. Whenever they say, come on, I'd be making an appointment saying, hey, I have to come look on Esther's behalf. I have to come look at the home. And I want to see it before they even make a decision because she gets a chance. You see how she stood up and got a chance? Well, she sat down and testified. So let's say this was a bad situation and she went and done the home study and she didn't agree with the caseworker and stuff. The guardian ad litem has more power than people realize because she is supposed to solely be in the best interest of the child. And another thing is they were like, well, why are you concerned about the overnight visits? The only reason she's concerned about overnight visits is because the state hasn't got the results back from one of these exams they made Meghan take, but Meghan already took it, so that ain't her fault. But yet the older child gets to go spend the night with her bio dad that she didn't meet until she was like 9 years old, and she's 10 now. I don't get it. And like somebody said, she's supposed to be the Virgin Mary. Who are all these people to tell her how to act?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Bokus, any other witness?
No, sir, nothing additional.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Mandel, your case.
I have no witnesses, Your Honor.
Department.
Your Honor, I would ask the court to accept the judicial review report that's been prepared and filed with the updates that have been provided by Ms. Rozier. I agree with the testimony of Ms. Rozier and the findings that you have already made today, and would ask the court to include a concurrent goal of adoption in this case. This is the first judicial review. This is our 6-month review. And based on the testimony today, we are seeing the same behavior we saw in the prior case. As you have pointed out, we're going on now almost 2 years with the same behavior. It's very concerning. I do believe a concurrent goal is warranted, and we did give Ms. Walsh the benefit of a goal date a year out so that she would have enough time to comply with the case plan fully. I am very concerned with the issue pertaining to the psychiatric evaluation, because it doesn't appear as though she's taking that seriously. And then, Your Honor, at the conclusion of the hearing, I'd like to address the subpoena. I had sent 2 subpoenas to TrueLeave. One subpoena commanding them to provide my office with their records. They did not respond to that subpoena. I sent a second subpoena to them commanding them to appear today in person in court. That subpoena has been filed in the court file, and you can see, if you look at it, that it was served on them on October 28th, 22 at 1:39, and you have sounded the hall. They are not there, so they are in direct violation of both subpoenas that have been issued. With the subpoena was the court order that you issued ordering the release of records, and so they are not complying to my subpoena or your court order. And I would ask the court to consider setting a hearing for rule to show cause as to why TrueLeave should not be held in contempt for failure to comply.
Mr. Bogus?
Thank you. First, I'd like to say that Ms. Klein is accomplishing an item on my bucket list by appearing from court on the beach.
Okay, I apologize. First of all, TrueLeave, they sent a request, which, what the fuck have I done wrong? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, TrueLeave sent them a request, and Meghan signed for it to release her medical records, okay? This is Florida, yes. And Vero Beach, Florida, Indian River County. Okay, so she signed the release for them to release her records. Okay, they didn't do it. So the judge already sent them a formal subpoena asking for them. Now he says, hey, Rob, he said, I don't want to, I don't know if he said it yet, but he does say it in here. Like, I don't want to, and 1 minute he says he can't, earlier, remember how he was talking about she has no business smoking weed? But now he's saying, well, I don't want to kind of like cause problems between her and her provider. So, like, so he instructs Meghan, if he hasn't already, he will instruct her to, try to push the provider, which is TrueLeave, to send those records on. This bitch wants to drag. They had tried to get. They didn't send the records today. This bitch wants him to go out and put a warrant out for TrueLeave. Okay? What the fuck? Come on. And he'll encourage her to just, ask the doctor, the TrueLeave, because they're like your doctor, to release them, because they have to follow HIPAA until they're subpoenaed, I guess. Nothing's safe.
I'd love to do that, and it looks like I'm kidding. I would ask that the court maintain the reunification case plan goal with the goal date. The court heard from dependency case manager Christy Rozier, as well as child advocate manager and guardian ad litem Angelina Abate. We're in agreement with maintaining of the status of partial compliance, because there are things that still need to be accomplished in order to meet conditions for return. For example, as the court pointed out, the psychiatric evaluation with a psychiatrist who would be a medical doctor has still yet to be completed. What brought this case into care makes that necessary and critical for child safety. Completion of the substance abuse evaluation and intake appears to be planned for this afternoon after the visit. We're not recommending any changes in the status of visitation at this time. I'm encouraged that Ms. Walsh is moving in the right direction, but as the witnesses have pointed out, there is much to go before we can recommend reunification and a return of Esther to home. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mandel?
Yes, Your Honor, I am in agreement with exactly what the guardian ad litem said. I would ask that you do not concurrently start an adoption plan. This is her first judicial review. She's in partial compliance. The guardian ad litem's counsel is not asking for that. Ms. Brochet is not asking for that. She did not make any comments about adoption. I would ask that perhaps at our next judicial review, if Ms. Walsh hasn't done it, then that would be appropriate, but not at this time. She just got this plan in September, Your Honor. And I'm not saying, and she has complied, these partial compliance, not full, but partial. So what I would ask that we continue on, set the next judicial review and see where we're at there.
And at this time, the court will accept the judicial review reports and updates by the department, and as well as the guardian ad litem program. As far as the partial compliance and my obvious frustration with this case, is the psychological evaluation has been, and Ms. Mandel, you said that she just got the case plan in September. It's the exact same case plan she had for the 2 years prior with her other 3 kids. And she still has not completed the psychological evaluation. If she completed the psychological evaluation, I think I'd bring a cake into the courtroom. I would be that excited. I am greatly impressed that she finished the parental capacity, and that's harder than the psychological. So I'm very encouraged by that. And the reason I'm so frustrated is because I know Meghan can do it. And you've been involved in this, Ms. Mandel, Ms. Klein, Mr. Bokus. We've all been involved in this case, and I can tell you there is nobody that is more passionate about Meghan and Esther being reunified than me. And unfortunately, January you lose me. You might think that's a great thing. Quit applauding. I know you're muted. I will, but I'm not going to stop pulling for Meghan, and I'm not going to stop monitoring this case. It sounds like that I'm not pulling for Meghan because I get so frustrated with her, but I get so frustrated with her because I know what she's got in her. And all you got to do, that psychological, you do the psychological, and then you go to the, I forget her name, April something, Chappelle. If that's who you want to go to counseling, that's who you go to counseling. But you've got to do the evaluation by a licensed psychologist. Complete that. Be done with it. I'm not going to change the goal to adoption. I'm going to leave the goal, as Ms. Mandel asked. I'm going to leave it as reunification. I'm still going to be pulling for Meghan. I'm going to be pulling for baby Esther. I'm going to be on this thing like I'm riding a horse because I want perfection this time. I want it done. I want it done right. And I want her to complete it. She can be done way, way, way before this case ever comes to being close to fruition. The baby has been actually in shelter since June. So that's why we're talking about this is the 6-month review. We've got to get these things done. I find that she's in partial compliance. That's a great thing to say. And that the housing and income, I hear what you're saying to me, Ms. Mandel and Meghan, that but they won't do a home study until it gets closer to reunification, and then we'll get all of the good stuff on the house and what's in the house, and that the house is good, and that you've got income and things of that nature. So things are moving forward, but you got to get the psychological done. because we can't get anything further. If you get the psychological done, and then the psychological is going to say, yes, she needs medical marijuana because of the prescription, all those things are going to fall into place. And then I have nothing to say. You shut me up. I mean, it's the bottom line. But I'm not going to shut up until Meghan gets perfection and gets this thing done. I want them together. Anything else? The visitation will remain the same as supervised visitation as they're going. And as far as the rule to show cause, I am going to wait on to see if maybe Ms. Walsh can get in touch with that provider and have them provide the information that I ordered before I order them into court and hold them in contempt for not doing what I'm asking them to do. I don't want to start getting, I don't want to cause barriers for Meghan because then her,
Okay, so now he don't want to go ahead and arrest him. She wanted to arrest True Leave for not showing up in court today. So why does he not want to go that far? I don't know. Maybe because True Leave is a pretty big company and he don't want to, he's already subpoenaed records for him. So but now he's saying, well, I don't want to come in between Meghan and the provider. But just a minute ago, he didn't want to her to smoke weed. Hey, ATL. Okay, I'm gonna let ATL up, but we're going ahead and finish the video. Let him up, and then we'll just
her provider for this.
It's almost over.
Could just stop providing, and here we go again. So I don't want to do that. So Ms. Walsh, if you could please have them look at those subpoenas, provide the information the court's asking them. Fairly rapid form, then I will the Department of the Guardian cause as to that. Anything further I need to order in this?
Sorry, Your Honor, may I just clarify to that instruction? You would like me to contact who exactly? Corporate True Leave? I was not aware of this subpoena or this aspect.
There's been 2 subpoenas and a court order sent to them to provide us with your records. They have not complied. Not complying with a court order is contempt of court. I don't want to start pushing your provider to that point. I don't know, there might be something there. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell them, hey, send them the info they need.
Meghan, he just wants to basically get your records from them. Just get your records.
Right, from the dispensary itself, because it sounds like corporate True Leave. I don't have contact to, I can call corporate and ask them, but I'm not aware of the details.
I'm just asking you to get with them, tell them to look at to please provide what's been ordered through the subpoena. You don't just, please provide it. But we just want the records. We don't want to cause any upheaval at this point.
Yeah, that's why I signed the releases, Your Honor. I thought that's what that was.
Well, you signed releases, but you might have to prod them a little bit.
That's okay.
Fine.
So that we don't lose sight of this issue with True Leave, because I see this being a real problem in the future if we don't get that information from them. Can I submit an order to the court where you are specifically directing them to provide you with the records within 10 days of receipt of that order? That way, if they don't comply with that order, then we would be able to follow up and seek a rule to show cause pursuant to the fact that they haven't done anything they've been asked.
And I don't have a problem with that because it'll just follow up. I'm not going to say rule to show cause or contempt in that order. It'll just be a follow up to the orders they've already got. And if Ms. Walsh will prod them to please get the records, then I think they'll maybe get the records to us.
I can't control them though, Your Honor, so I will prod.
I understand that. I understand that. I don't want to start rocking the boat with. I don't want to start rocking the boat with somebody you're working with. So.
Exactly. Yeah, no, these new needs are absolutely new today, and I will follow up on what we've reviewed. Thank you.
Very good. Anything further from anybody else?
Next date, Your Honor.
We need the next judicial review date.
May 8th. at 9 o'clock.
May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Hello, ATL News. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I was watching your show here, and it just it makes me sick to see how these people. I don't know. It's almost like they're bored with their lives and they need something to do. And the state's providing money to these people to attack people. And it's a weird thing. The state's paying these lawyers and prosecutors and things like this, social workers, to attack people. So they have to justify their existence in order to get their paycheck. So they just come up with such nonsense. I mean,
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that child. The child is being provided for. There's kids on the street right now overdosing from fentanyl, but they're going after this.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they took her when she was 5 days old just because they had not seen proof that she'd been to the doctor, but she had been to the doctor. But they didn't. They went to court without her that day, and at that time she had a public defender, and so she didn't go with her. But go ahead.
But the thing is, she's not required to see a doctor. Just because you have a child doesn't mean you're required to see a doctor. Who in the hell says that you have to see a doctor? People have been given birth since the beginning of time.
I know.
You don't need a doctor to give birth.
I know.
All you need to do is be a woman. That's it. That's all you need to be to give birth. All you need to do is be a woman.
All right.
And
I just can't imagine, and I'm glad that we finally, because I've been to the court with her before, and they didn't allow us in, even without cameras, and so I'm glad this hearing was broadcasted, and this guy did screen record it, and she asked me to share it today, and I was so happy to actually have some footage from inside there so we could see exactly what was going on, because I knew it was a mess by what she told me, by the few court papers I have seen. But it's behind closed doors, and most of the time, and it's egregious. I mean, what they can't even, they keep trying to mix the two cases together. If they wanted to do that, they should have done that when she was pregnant or when she first had that. But they didn't want to do that because that would have gave her another year on the first three, and instead, but now they're trying to go back and use that against her and shorten this one. That lady was trying to get that go towards adoption, and it's only been 6 months.
Well, you see, we've gone past the initial problem. See, now it's not even about the child anymore. Now it's about defending the process. It has absolutely nothing to do with the child at this point.
Right.
At this point, they are defending process. They're not defending the child. They're defending process. And they're using process to attack someone.
Right.
It's not about the welfare of the child, but they're actually defending their process, and they're using process to attack a family.
Mm-hmm. Sick. And this happens to a lot of families. It's happening all over the country.
Oh yeah, she's not the only one. She's by far not the only one.
The only positive thing that might ever come out of this, if we can get her kids back, is that then we can, get national attention on it and try to get this whole thing redone from the bottom up, because the whole thing's a flawed system. It does not work. It doesn't protect nobody. And it costs more to take children away and to go through all these hearings and to pay all these social workers, foster parents, etc., than it would to get parents help when they need help. But Meghan didn't even need help. She was fine. She lived on a nice big ranch. Unfortunately, she had half of it was in her dad's name, and they took that from her, and they've got it in escrow. But the last time she went to that, they wanted, they were going to make her pay for her dad's legal fees. At least that's what they're trying to do. So she probably won't have nothing out of that. But the good news is she does have housing now, at least for her and the one child. And there's really, and they've, like the lady said, they did a virtual walkthrough but yet they still won't send her home because they haven't finished one of their little evaluations. And what? Oh, because they tested her for alcohol. I didn't know you weren't allowed to have a drink. And 1 minute he don't want her to have weed. When it comes to actually, getting contempt of court against True Leave, he wanted to back off from that. And the DA, she wanted to.
I'm sorry.
Trying to protect Meghan.
Oh, you're going in and out a little bit there, Amy. I think your speaker might be a little out of whack.
Really, it could be this microphone. Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you. But what I want to bring up too is,
Go ahead.
In our school system, in our public school system, like you saw with me, the principal is allowing children to be abused, and they're which is a crime. Bullying is a crime in the state of Georgia, and they're allowing it. They're aware that it's happening. They're not calling the cops, and they have an incorporated police department that doesn't really follow the law. All they do is protect the administration, and they cover up crimes against children. And here we are with a mom that's not abusing her child, is taking care of the child, and they're going after her, trying to take that child away. But you don't see the state trying to get those kids out of those schools that allow abuse to happen. This is about the child being abused. Well, in our school systems, children are being abused, especially like Kemp Elementary School here in Georgia, where kids are being beaten, bullied, and worse.
Right.
And the school teachers aren't arrested, even though they know about it. It's called neglect. They're breaking the law.
Supposed to be mandatory reporters too.
Yeah, and then on top of it, that's so. What we're seeing is not any kind of justice or law being followed. What you're seeing is a show. These people need a paycheck, and we're literally not watching the justice system work. We are watching government workers trying to justify their paychecks.
Right.
That's all we are seeing right here. We are not seeing any kind of justice or any kind of concern for other people. That's not what this is about. This is about them protecting their paychecks.
I would have to agree on you on that. And probably so much more, because that's a small county too, and it has Masonic symbols all over. And with her dad being John Walsh of America's Most Wanted.
Well, that doesn't help because he has some money in his pocket, so he could get a lawyer to file papers. So
and he knows
it doesn't help.
He's friends with these sheriffs, the same sheriffs that come to remove that baby. One of them was one of his best friends. So, and he just shot commercials with them when he was down there last. I'm over there going to court with her at the same time. He's shooting movie shows and ads and shit. And he's over there getting his nose powdered, and I don't mean but like that, but I mean like getting on camera and shit while we're over there trying to worry about saving a baby. It's crazy.
Well, no, I mean you bring up a really good point. So her dad, the person attacking her, is doing free ads, free advertisements, free PR for the police departments.
Yeah.
And the law departments. He's putting those guys who are doing wrong in a beautiful light. So they're going to back him up 100% because all he's doing is saying good things about them. Regardless whether they're doing good or bad, he's putting out there that they're good. They're doing such a good job. They're heroes. They're this, they're that. And it's a conflict of interest. And that needs to be kind of stopped. But
hold that point, because that's a good point what you got right there. Lady Justice, I dropped the link if you want to come up here. Lady Justice has been to court with me on this. Okay.
I hear she needs to go. They've already decided who's won this and what they're going to do. She needs to attack the process she needs to start objecting to everything and asking about jurisdiction. How do they have jurisdiction to do this? How do they have the power to do this to her family?
Right,
and she has to demand what power they're using to do this to her family, and then she has to attack the system because the system is already set up to win for them. So she has to see, and she's playing into their battle, a battle that's already set up.
Right.
So
she tried to take this to federal court already, but unfortunately, most of that she'd set up by herself and with the help of others, and she had missed a few things that needs to be done again. Hopefully, her lawyer will help her do it again.
yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way to do it, and you just have to figure out what that way is. Maybe it's just finding the right federal judge, to file it with. Because some judges will be a little more lenient on process than others because you're doing it by yourself.
This around. How do I turn this around?
That's Lady Justice. She's trying to come in and join us for a minute. Anyway, so yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. They still haven't. 2 nights ago, I shared some of the accusations they had against her. Hey, Lady J.
I don't understand why her defense is not objecting. I mean, you don't.
I would have objected to more things than she did, but I'm not a lawyer.
I would object to anything they have to say for the simple sake of they don't have the jurisdiction over her family, according to the U.S. Constitution, anyway. They don't have the right to do what they're doing, so you have to question the system that they have set up. The system that they set up outside of the U.S. Constitution is unconstitutional. They're not following it. That's the governing document. The government has to follow the U.S. Constitution, and they're not doing that by the system they set up. The system they set up is corrupt. And then you have with the father doing free public relations for the officers and things like that. Plus, they have the advantage of monetary advantage. They have the lawyers, so it's like financial discrimination. There's a lot of bias because he's going to put the court in good light. I don't know.
Okay, Lady J, can you hear us?
I can.
Good, we can hear you too. Real quick, I want to bring this point up that somebody had said that X-Habit said that Shirley Z had brought up. Why were her parents not evaluated? And the simple truth is that her parents are too close to the judge. They feel protected about it, and they feel protected by him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why shouldn't they have to go to evaluations and all this stuff? And why shouldn't the bio dad that this poor child just met like a few months ago spend the night at his house? Hey, Lady J.
Hey, how are you doing? How's everything?
Pretty good. We just went over. We actually got some hearing footage. I'm going to release it again later. This, of course, I'm going to release, and I'm going to release just the footage by itself, so you can go back and watch it straight through, no interruptions. But finally, we got some Zoom footage, and some people were allowed inside, so that's a miracle. So that will be good to watch. But you've been down there, and you've seen what a kangaroo court it is. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Well, yeah, that is definitely, in my humble opinion, or whatever that's worth, a kangaroo court that she's dealing with. It doesn't seem like it's fair on both sides, and just like, why wasn't her parents checked out? And other than there's more corruption.
And what do you think we can do, Lady Justice, after all the time I've been working on this and all the time you've helped me and you've worked on it with me, and all the other people out there who's worked on it? How can we get this story out there further? Do you think now that I've got some documents and stuff, that'll help this court footage? Do you guys in the chat think that'll help any? Because people always say, oh, they had to take the kids for a reason. She had to be doing something really wrong. Do y'all think this will help any? Go start with Lady Justice, then we'll go to ATL.
I think your documentation is always good to have, not just in this particular case, but always straight across the board. So yeah, I think that should help her. It should help absolutely.
And you agree, Tim?
Yeah. And what I think, because getting court records is usually not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's hard. So by you putting the records on YouTube or any other public platform, you're making it easier for the average person to get and see those records. So it's very important that you do it. And what I suggest is you make sure when you put into the description, you put the dad's name, her name, and so it gets more hits. You might even want to put in there the name of the dad's show.
Yeah.
I mean, so you gotta. It's definitely helpful. I don't know how helpful it'll be, but it's definitely helpful, and it creates, a public record, an easy public record that you don't have to pay for, accessible to anyone.
Right.
Yeah,
I had to pay for the body cams. Oh, but that's the thing. All the body cams are on my channel from the day they removed the baby, and there's a playlist called #MeghanWalsh, and it has. Oh, we lost Lady Justice. She'll probably come back. It has my videos on there. It has Lady Justice's, and it has some other interviews that Meghan's done online. Stuff like that. So it's a playlist. I'll have it in the description of this video. That's what I said earlier. There's a whole list of stuff I have that I'm going to put in the links in the description that people can go look at, and they can contribute to help not Lady Justice. They can contribute to help Meghan. Like I said, even if it's just to sign the change.org petition. And there needs to be a better way to do these things. That's why if we can't ever get her children back, we would love to revamp this whole system. I don't know how we could do it, but man, it's got to start somewhere.
Well, I also, if I can chime in for a moment, I really think we need to figure out a way how to keep law enforcement from blocking their dash cams and their body cams, or making it so they're muted. I think straight across the board, I really noticed in this case earlier on, that's what the cops were doing when they were talking amongst themselves, trying whatever. I don't think cops should be allowed to do that.
They sure should, and that's something we've got to all figure out how to change. And the new app, guys, that me and Amanda and some other people have been talking about, and the guy that's working on it, look, he's already got some people up there. Well, if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves for a minute, I'll look and show y'all the app because it's really neat. You just click on the state, and that's what I need you guys to do. Some of you guys have sent me lists in the past of like.
Excuse me, are you talking about what No Name Coder's working on?
No, but they're also talking to him too, seeing if they can incorporate the two. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be for all of us to use, and it's going to be censor free. And it has a map on it where you can just click the state and find a caught watcher activist in your area, and it takes you straight to your YouTube channel. So it's pretty cool. But
it's cool.
Past people have sent me list of like all the activists, auditors, caught watchers they could think of, and I might can find those in my emails. But if there's anybody out there that has a list, of course, we're not going to have everybody that's ever existed or everybody that's out there. But if anybody's got a pretty full list,
I know there's a list. Someone did put a list together, and I'll look into my email because it was emailed to me. I'll send it to you. But it's posted on someone's YouTube channel. There's a list of all the auditors. It's not coming to me. I'll find out who it is. I'll get you the info.
All you do is just look for it, and I'm going to look through my email too because I know a lot of times the subscribers have even put them together, and I've just got to find them, But if you guys can find any too, and anybody else that's got a list, send it to me. And then once we start putting these people in there, if they want to go in there, then we're still going to need to add new people or people that we missed the first time. Yeah, I'm going to email this to myself real quick so I can pull it up on the screen. It will take me a couple minutes.
Mhm.
Why don't you tell us about your journeys recently, Lady Justice, please?
Oh, well, I've gone through Florida, had some encounters, if you will, in St. George County there in Florida. I'm not in Florida right now. I will say that.
That would be
But
St.
I will
County.
be back in Florida because in Sarasota this next week.
Lady Justice, that's St.
Yes,
Johns County, right, baby?
that's right.
Okay. Please continue when you get a chance.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I will be back in the Sarasota area for court this next week for myself. So yeah, I got to take care of that, and then I'll be off doing some more adventuring around the United States, across the Union. After all that, hopefully, we'll see if how that verdict comes out, because I will be doing my trial this next week.
Good luck with that.
Well, thank you.
I hope that works out for you. It should.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a coin toss. You can't, even when you're right. You could still be wrong. Even when you're right,
That's
they'll still
exactly
tell you that you're wrong. It's
right.
a weird thing. I
Yeah.
wanted to. There was I just did some reading on this too. It's been out for a while. The 2008 Supreme Court ruling, July 2008 Supreme Court ruling, states that, and I'll combine this to what's going on with her. It says that traveling is a right. Any person is allowed to use all of the public roads, drive on the public roads, and you do not need a driver's license. It's a right. It's not a privilege. And right now, so when you cop pulls you over from going 40 in a 35 or whatever it is, you don't have to follow those rules. I mean, it's a good idea to. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying going out breaking the law intentionally, but those are like an incorporated rule. That's an incorporation of the DMV. So they don't have any jurisdiction. The DMV doesn't have jurisdiction over you. And this is where I'm saying you have to attack the system and not the actual claim against you.
Right.
The system is corrupt. Right now, they're still giving out tickets, and they'll arrest you if you don't have a driver's license. But according to the Supreme Court, you don't need a driver's license to drive, and you'll get off in the court when you take it up. But I mean, they'll ruin your life,
Right.
trying to defend that case.
Let me say something about that. The point about that is, yes, it's been ruled on in the Supreme Court, but I don't advise it personally to nobody, because you got to pick and choose your battles. I mean, and that's something someone would have to decide on their own, and they would have to. I would encourage them to look into the legalities of it. Me personally, the way I understand the law is, yes, you don't need no fucking license unless you're doing commerce. But would it be worth it? I think we're so far gone. I don't know if you could come back from that. I really don't. And you got to pick and choose your battles. And
yes.
It sucks. If I'd been around when they were starting a driver's license thing, I'd have been out there protesting, but I wasn't. So, Huber Hamber, hello. So, I wish we could come back from that. But like I said, it's very dangerous. There are people that do it. There's people that get away with it. But finding a cop that's even going to listen to you explain it to him, shit, you could liable to be dead or either in jail by the time you even get one that's going to listen to you about it. So, for me personally, I mean, if you've got the time, the money to put up a bond, and you're brave enough, fuck it, do it. And I do believe in my understanding of the law, but I'm not a lawyer. yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but wow, it's really so ingrained, and we've been so sucked into it for so long that we can't. One by one, I don't know if we can pluck our way out of some of these things. Some things we can. Some things I don't think we can. So I think, but let me see if this email comes through. But you guys continue to talk, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to cut in there one down real quick, and then I also want to make it clear to people because even though you're everybody's opinions on here are their own. I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. I'm just trying to be pleasing to YouTube too, and I'm also want people to be careful because it can be very dangerous, even though you're legally in the right. Even watching cops, we all know.
Oh yeah, the law doesn't matter here.
No,
the
it
cop
don't.
Can the cop can do whatever he wants to in every single occasion. Yeah. If that cop is having a bad day and decides he wants to throw you in jail, he will throw you in jail. And there's nothing you could do about it. And if you resist, they can kill you.
That's right.
So you always keep that in the back of your head. Mm-hmm. If you do nothing wrong and a cop pulls you over and you don't obey, they can kill you. If you don't, they can do whatever they want to, and they have laws that protect them from any decision that they make, making them unaccountable to any decision that they make. So a cop, when they get you, they're allowed to do whatever they want to you without any kind of repercussion. That's just a simple fact.
When you put yourself in a car, especially without a tag or anything else that's going to call attention to it, you're going to increase your interactions with them, and that's fine if you want interactions. But when you're in that car, I feel like you become more vulnerable to me. I don't know why. I feel
also,
because you're under arrest. Really, not if at least detainment, which is arrest, right, Melinda?
Yes. Detainment. Kidnapping.
Well, and also you're risking your property too, because they can tow your property and have it impounded, and guess what? You're out money for that.
I agree. I'm gonna blow this up real quick. And I'm gonna drop this in the letter. This is the new platform. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, which means we're gonna get knocked. You'll still hear us, but you won't see us.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, so I'm going to click on like this. Now, this is its infancy, so it doesn't have hardly anybody here. I'm going to click on Florida. I know it's not real big, but y'all can see that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, click on Florida. That's not this. This is my computer. It shouldn't have ads on it, but somehow I agreed to it. Okay, this is Florida Auditors. You see? We got Ackermanda, Palm Beach Free Press, Big Nick, James Madison, Rogue Nation, Chuck Munson, Rag Monkey, Honor Your Oath, the J-Town Press, American Amy, and Soul Yacker. And there's many more that need to be added. You click on my name. And boom. Where does it take you?
That's nice. That's nice.
My YouTube channel. And the same goes for the other folks that are in there. We can go back and even look and see. But I hadn't tried anybody else's. Let's look at J-Town Presses. Let's see. Click on hers. Come on, computer.
I think I've seen J-Town. Wait. Yeah. Is J-Town a guy or a girl?
She's a girl.
Okay, all right. I know who she is. Okay. I wasn't sure. I couldn't connect the name.
Me and Lady Justice both have met her a couple times and worked with her. She's really nice. So look, it took us straight to her channel. She's growing fast.
She does. Georgia Transparency is doing some good work with her. With him.
One of the GI guys got arrested with her, but I can't tell all the Georgia people apart. And then me and Lady Justice, we worked with Georgia Accountability Patrol one time. He came and gave us a ride to go to court with Meghan. He sure did.
Yeah, Georgia Transparency. He's one of the newer guys, but he's picked up quick. He's picked up quick. He's doing he does very legitimate work. He's not
I don't know. I can't tell them all apart. I just there's so many Georgia people. I don't know why it confuses me so bad, but does that confuse you, Lady Justice?
It really does, and I'm sorry to say that.
They all have it in their name. All of us Florida people don't have it in our name. Some of us do, but some of us don't. I don't know. I wonder if it's confusing everybody else. It may be
Well,
for some people.
but let's face it. Aren't you confused about a lot of things?
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with this.
But I
This
can
is
usually keep people apart, though. I can play justice. I'm real good about keeping every channel, every sub. I know most of everybody is. I just about tell you anybody's life history if they haven't been lying.
Right,
oh
there you
yeah.
go.
I'm
like,
always confused about everything. I don't know.
but I do get confused a lot, especially when it's important. I need to think of something real quick sometimes, especially if I'm stressed out. But anyway, so yeah. Any final thoughts? Anybody want to? Yeah, I mean that's just crazy. I wish you'd have been in here late justice to see that. That hearing. It was ridiculous.
Well, I'll jump back in. I'll jump back in and watch your stream entirely so I can see what's going on.
Whole thing straight through again for anybody, for anybody that wants to watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. What about people that come in the chat late? Y'all want? I mean, if you were here earlier and you don't want to stay, you could leave. But those of you that are here, yeah, and laws are subject to interpretation in Hebrew. That's why I can't sit here and say, oh, yeah, it's legal for you to do this. Oh, yeah. No. That's why I always tell people you got to do your research. I can't give you legal advice. And you've got to check your state laws and your state constitution. Those are very important. And
Laws
also,
can vary from county to county too, not just from state to state.
when they have ordinances, but most ordinances, though any ordinance though can never outweigh the Constitution. But of course, a lot of these cities don't know that, especially in Florida. We've come to find out, and they will make.
Yeah, there's some laws in Florida that really need to be changed. So all the lawmakers out there in Florida, you really should be looking at that obstruction law that they got floating out there.
The way
it's not constitutional.
Yeah, and it's tied into resisting without violence. It's like a charge of one, and it has the word "oppose" in it.
Oppose. That is a ridiculous word, in my humble opinion. That means if you have any kind of disagreement whatsoever, if you don't, you can be charged. If a cop asks you for help and you refuse, you can actually be arrested and charged. And I'm sorry, that's
wrong. And any judge should that though. But we need to think about ways also though that we can get these body cams to stop being muted. First of all, we got to find out, is it department policy? I'm just so busy. I haven't had time to research this. But we need to find out, is it department policy or is it a law? I don't think it's a law. I think it's department policy, but we need to make sure. And then we need to go about trying to petition our state lawmakers. Or we can start locally. We can start with our damn city council. Okay, go ahead, please, ATL.
I gotta go. I love being up. Thanks for having me up. I always watch your channel. I always keep an eye out. So
well,
keep up the good work.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye bye. Come again sometime. Yeah, I hope you heard that. I like when you guys come up here and talk to me. I don't want to be up here by myself. Anyway, so where were we at? We were talking about the body cams. Okay, so then we can start off locally, but of course, we know our city council people, so they're not going to listen. Oh, they don't even listen when you talk. So I guess we can start there, and then that would give us a record. In Hebrew, he might have some opinions on this, so this isn't something we're going to figure out one day. But it's something we need to start figuring out. And then let's look back at that app again. Let's see what else is on there real quick. There might be other stuff on there. I don't know. I hadn't had time to play around with it yet. I got to send you the link.
So how can I get on that app?
I got to send you the link. But it's already, I've already, put it in, I believe, what's it called? The link to the video I watched. I think we're on the wrong screen now. I don't know. Is this the screen we're supposed to be on?
This is StreamYard screen. It's It's got the deck on there.
Okay. That's my email. That's the wrong one. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, if you could send me or text me that link, I'd appreciate it.
I'm going to. I will. But for others, because I can't text everybody one by one.
Right.
I'm going to put in the description. I'm going to put it in the pinned comment. I think I put it on the one last night somewhere, but I will start sharing it. And once I give it to you, you'll start sharing it, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. So how could I go about getting on there? I mean, to be part of that.
I don't know. That's what we're going to look at it right now on screen. We're going to see
Okay.
what we have to do.
I'm interested.
I
Because
know.
somebody like myself, for example, Amy, I'm not affiliated with just one state anymore.
I know.
I feel like I'm affiliated with 48 states now.
But I was going to say, I would ask them how, like how you can put like in parentheses, like traveling, and I would put like, I would go ahead and put myself in all the, especially the states you frequent more often.
Like Florida, for example.
Yeah, and I would put in parentheses, travels often, maybe in your state or something, so they can still click you, and get your say or just say contact, for location, and that don't mean you're going to tell people here's that location, but or maybe they can fix it when you actually get in a certain area. You can change it, like if you go to a certain state.
Okay, that would be a good option.
I don't know, but we'll have to ask them.
Yeah,
I've been on a couple.
So is that something that No Name Coder's adding to his thing, or
I haven't talked to him about it personally.
okay.
Okay, you see the map now. Him and Acromanda have talked about it, I think through email at least. I think he's interested in it.
So is it something Acromanda's putting together? Do you know, or
her and and a man she met that he wants to kind of stay in the background. I mean, I'm going to meet him. She's met him. Palm Beach Free Press has met him. Some of us, I mean, I don't know who all he's willing to meet, but I mean, he just, he's a coder.
Mm-hmm.
Right. His face, he's a guy about 60, and he's gonna have like a handle, and everybody on the line can have a handle. I mean, everybody don't go by their name, even on here. Okay,
That's
so
right.
what we're gonna do, this is it. So I'm gonna have to go on this side and see. Let's say about us. What do we know, and how do we know? Okay. Wow. So this is going to have a lot of stuff, and they got the mission statement too. So there's information in here, guys, for you all to read. And you can also share this information. Look, all the links. Boom. And it's not just for auditors, We might have to section it out. I think these ads are coming from me because I accidentally agreed to something that's got ads. But anyway, guys, I will have the link to this. I think it's really cool. Let's look at their mission statement. We're a group of people who demand accountability. If it was me personally, I would have worded that a little bit differently. And when I talk to the guy, I will tell him that. I would say something like, we have created this platform as a way for people we are like-minded people. I would never call it. I would take the word group out of there.
Yeah, you don't want to sound too aggressive or over the top.
Yeah, what do you? If you want to chat, put your opinion on that too, because I'm going to talk to this guy again. I'm going to talk to him once a week for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's things, and like I said, when I get more information and we figure out more how to work, I mean, y'all can all get on there, and it says contact us. Let's see what that says. What's there? Maybe he's got email. Okay, so this is what you do, and this is what he told me too. You're gonna have to put your channel link if you want it added, and I think he's on. It doesn't have to just be YouTube either. I don't believe.
Okay.
I don't know though. It says YouTube channel link, so it might be only YouTube. I'm gonna have to talk to him, and maybe he'll take other channels too. I don't know, but the main thing is he puts on, and you know who one of his inspirations is?
Who?
Direct
What?
E. And
Oh,
that's something
cool. DirectE's got working on some really cool things too, actually.
And
Yeah.
look how he inspired Coder. And I don't know if you guys can see this right here, where that little video is, where it says that red and white is. It says this video was censored by YouTube, but not here. We will host any video refused by YouTube. Click here. That's another thing. If you've got a video, they can say you can't upload, or even if you have uploaded it, okay, it's not working. He said it might be down for a minute anyway. He did say that the other night. He said it might take 48 hours for it to be completely up again. Let's just check another state. Let's check Idaho, and see if you're there. Where's Idaho?
Clear up here in the left, in the upper left, right there.
Oh,
yeah.
You're close to Oregon.
Yeah, very close to Oregon. They're our neighbors over there.
I didn't know it was that far west. I thought it was like Midwest.
No.
See, there's nobody in that state. Let's try another state. Will you look at the chat later just to see if anybody's saying anything that's important?
Let me see.
Thank you. I'm going to try, let's try Alabama. And then we'll try Georgia. Well, why are they in it? They've got them in Alabama. I mean, sometimes they go to Alabama. Are you supposed
Try
to?
Oregon. Try Oregon. Crafty is saying.
Okay. And look, guys, if your name's not in here, you contact them to this form right here and add all you got to add is your name, your email, and your YouTube channel. That's it. Okay? And they'll put you on there. He wants you on there. He wants to help us. That's all he wants to do is help us. Now, he might, like I said, them ads that we were seeing, where were we checking? Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon. There you go. Perfect.
Them ads that I told you were on there, those are on my computer because I accidentally agreed to something. Nothing in Oregon yet. Let's try another state and see. Let's try Georgia because there's a lot of GA auditors. And it is confusing to me. We got Georgia Constitution Auditor. See that?
Okay, yeah.
And he is going to take professional ads or anybody that's willing to pay for them. But I don't think there's ever going to be a charge like to upload or something. I don't know about watching. There's Georgia Constitution. It took us straight to his page. Okay. So I'm kind of excited about it, guys.
Right, yeah.
And I'm excited about what No Names Coder's doing, and I hope they can figure out a way that they can both, how they can put these two technologies together. Right now, this is kind of just like a forum, but he has more dreams for it. Like, he has more ideas for it. Like, he wants it to include automatic videoing.
Right. I agree with what SJD News is saying. He thinks that it's still a forum. The forum is still in the works.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's a work in progress, meaning it's living, it's alive, and it can be added to probably indefinitely, maybe. I don't know, because I mean, auditors come and go, it seems like. I mean, there's several that's been there for.
Tried, yes. People have tried. Okay. Yeah. And none of them have been really that user friendly, or they have it, just different things. But it's very much in its infancies. I mean, it just started out with a few weeks ago. I mean, I was invited to a conference call with some people. A lot of people were invited, and they're going to invite you all this week too. Okay,
Oh,
I'll make sure you're invited too. Okay,
well,
I
please do, Miss
you
American
all.
Amy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wasn't doing the invites. Okay, but they and I told them that's another reason they want the list too. And like I know people have sent me lists, they put them in my comments. I've taken pictures of it because it's touching to me when somebody takes the time to list us all by alphabetical order. And sometimes they'll even put like little names by all of us. Like, they'll have like little like the I don't know, like the whatever. Like if you were gonna talk about a movie or something. They have like a role, a character or a role for all of us, like the superhero,
Oh,
the
cool. I like that.
this lady. I don't know, just different names. I'm just using wild examples here. The queen,
Right. Okay.
the like something special for each of us. I have one like that somewhere. I hope I can find it.
Yeah.
None of these lists include everybody because, like I told them, and I think we would all agree, there's probably whole pockets of people that do what we do that don't even know we exist. None of us,
Right.
probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's also in this day and age, it's not as much as a community thing like it was, and I would like to keep it that way and bring it back to that more, and get it more about what it's supposed to be about, and that's activism and being united against our enemies. That's really what it needs to be about. And it needs to be about just being able to fucking document. Speaking of court dates, Lay Justice,
Yep.
and everybody else, my court date has once again been put off to
You know
January.
what? I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous, Amy. You're going on what, a year and a half now since your initial arrest? Yeah.
It happened August 21st, 2021.
Wow.
I don't know why. I've asked my attorney to call me today, because I want to ask him why and what he thinks about this. Does he think this good or bad? But it's also stressful to me. And maybe they think they're just going to wear me down. I don't know. And what do you guys in the chat think about that? Your opinion matters too. In fact, a lot of times I get on here because I like to hear y'all's opinions. I love hearing other people's opinions, and it helps us
Exactly.
to make good decisions. We're still going to make our own decision, but it helps when you have more information to go out of, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of weird to me because you and I both were arrested in the same state, different counties, different cities, but the same state with the same charge. And I was arrested this last May,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be going for my trial this next week at some point. I'm not sure exactly when, but
Right, but
and
did
here
your lawyer for a
your
motion?
yeah, your attorney somehow or another has finagled it, which there's could be pros and cons, both looking at it both ways. But yeah, it's just been dragging on and on and on for you for over a year and a half, and
Yeah,
yeah,
but we're still trying to get it dismissed. I mean, y'all moved it towards to trial already. We did get it ruled on once, but they ruled against me, but they withheld prejudice, and that was that retired judge. And this will be my fifth judge. I also wonder if they got a judge shortage still, and if they do, why won't they drop silly shit like this instead of answering it with a traverse? Can you hold this down real quick while I go put the AC down?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with what she was saying about the fifth judge and how the time is wearing on her. It is very emotionally and mentally draining when you're looking at, I mean, yes, the charge is in fact a misdemeanor, but with that charge in the state of Florida, you're looking at the possibility of 1 year in jail, $1,000 fine, and I want to say it's 1 year probation, up to 1 year probation. So it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, really messing with your freedom and your liberties like that. It just, yeah, for next to for nothing. Basically, recording, documenting, filming in public. Yeah. Anyway, um, I'm going to look at the chat now. Or both, yes. Amy, don't get a judge like Meghan did. Absolutely. I would agree with that. Yeah. I'm just looking through the chat real quick. Anyway, at the comments here. Yeah. Anyway, so I will be traveling back to Florida this coming week to figure out what my destiny, my fate is going to be with Sarasota. I strongly feel like I did absolutely nothing wrong. They have thrown out a couple of plea deals for me, and I can't take them because I did do nothing wrong, in my humble opinion. Free people in a free country, in a open sidewalk, in an open street, should be able to do whatever they want to do, within reason. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, and recording, documenting is something we should all be doing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for covering that for me. It is wearing, and my mom, every time I go home, I travel up there, it costs me money to get up there, and then I gotta hurry up for court, get back, and then boom, court gets canceled.
Postponed again, yeah.
And my mom's 73, she's sick, and she needs me. It's terrible. I don't know about Arizona was trying to do the 8-foot rule, but it was shot down, I believe. And
I think there's pros and cons to that. Trying to specify an actual distance. I think there's pros and cons to that. I don't like it for the most part. I don't like it. There's many reasons why.
I can tell you the cons, in my opinion, is it seems like there would be pros too, because it kind of seems like, well, when you can get 8 feet, they can't do nothing about it. But they come up to us. Look how they were chest bumping you the other day. So they got you. You can't even say I'm First Amendment constitutionally protected, because in the state of Arizona, according to their constitution, or at least according to presidents or state ruling, case law, or whatever this thing is, this bill, you would be closer than 8 feet. And they will put it on you every time. That's what I see happening. And then anytime you start tampering with the First Amendment, just like the guns, it becomes a problem. Somebody asked me the other day, do people need to walk around with these huge guns when they're protesting? Not this kind of protest, a different one. I said, and these people were bad people, okay? Not kind of people I would support, okay? But what I believe they were, one of those ugly groups. But this is what I said. If it was regular protesters, and then the person said, well, even if it's regular protest, do you agree with that? I said, look, I don't think it's necessary. I don't see a problem with it. But I think these people were just trying to instill fear. There's a difference between just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But still, I think, and then the size of them, when you start limiting the size of things, or the feet. And I think that's the reason why maybe the Supreme Court hasn't ruled on it, is because it gets so touchy when you get with distances, and then you got to prove distance in every case, and then half these cops are so dumb they can't eyeball 8 to 10 feet.
No, and I bet they couldn't even work a tape measure correctly either. I mean, just saying. But yeah, I've been in situations where 12, 15 feet was actually good enough and whatever. And I've been in situations where 2 feet, I mean, you're right there. And it's because the cops have put themselves there, really.
Right, or Some will, it depends. Yeah, usually when I get that close to them, they've either walked right past me and either not necessarily an aggressive way, but sometimes they'll walk by me in a just a neutral way, like, and treat me like anybody else, and I'll stay that close to them. But if they come up in a negative way, that's different. I'm either going to stand my ground or maybe even try to back up a step, because sometimes that one step, it makes them feel like it soothes their big ego a little
Really
bit.
does.
Yeah. So sometimes just give them that one step, and that's it. And it also shows how stupid and petty it is. And it also gives stupid hotheads time to prevail.
Right. It's kind of come down a little bit. But, I've been in situations myself where you might give them that step, but they're not satisfied. Now they're telling you to go a step further or to move over here. Just like that sign, that time I got arrested, move over to the hibiscus sign. You
Right.
moved over there. And then
Mhm.
as soon as you get there, move back even further. I mean, I've seen that happen so many times.
And it changes every second. And that's why I said that if it proceeds past that, if that doesn't soothe their ego, then you decide to proceed differently. Depending on the situation. Of course, we can't tell. Every situation is different. So, there's certain times I would tell you to take that one step, and they try and move you further, not to move an inch after that. But there's other times I tell you to go ahead and back. So every
Yeah.
situation is different. So it's not like this a handbook way of doing it, as we
No.
all know.
Every situation is just a little bit different, because you've got different people, different personalities, and honestly, different points of view of the law, I guess, and officer discretion and all kinds of stuff go into play there.
And there's
know.
nothing like officer safety.
Oh, I say forget about officer safety. Why not public safety?
I love it, and that's a line I like to use too, and I like every time I hear somebody use it.
Yeah.
Public safety, because it's very important, and that's what they're really supposed to be there. And people talk about how brave and stuff they are. Firemen's run into buildings, but the police don't. They won't even go in and save people a lot of times.
No, no. And honestly, though, they are not responsible for our safety.
No, they're not.
So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to throw
That's
that
what I
out.
was telling somebody that today. I said, "Do you want them to be the only one? Because they've already got us outnumbered and outpowered." Okay, I think they've already got us powered. I said, so why would we want to leave them to have all the power?
Right, right. And that's really not how it's supposed to work. I mean, the people are supposed to have the power, right?
Right. And as a society, we do not need to be policed.
No, we don't. We don't.
If you do something, if you commit a real crime with a real victim, then your ass needs to go to jail.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And they used to send the sheriff, not some fucking police. What's the fucking police? A catcher?
Right.
Your hair looks pretty.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just shoved a hat on my head and glasses on my face and jumped on to say, hey,
I'm
talk
glad
with you.
Especially since we were talking about this situation. Well, anytime you're welcome, but you've been there, and I'm going to let you go. I've released the version without me talking, and
Okay.
so that way you can watch it, and anybody else can watch it. Anybody that missed it, it's already up there. So y'all go ahead and watch it, and give me a few minutes, and I'll put some links in this video and that video of ways to help Meghan.
Yeah.
Even if you just signed it and
The
change
whole situation with her is just really sad.
and share the videos. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because a lot of times people have not heard about this at all. And it's a lot to take in. So at least
And this case has been going on for several months. I mean, well, over a year. So
yeah, and what you'll see in the court hearing, late justices, they tried to, the cases are separate, but when it's to their benefit, they try to mingle them together.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course,
So
yeah.
watch that, and then let me know what you think about it. And then, maybe we'll get back together and discuss it later. And we might even discuss it online. Who knows? All right. Thank you all for joining us. We had a lot of nice people come in today, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate that was Georgia Transparency, was it? No, what was it? Georgia. Somebody help me. What was his name? ATL News, was it? If anybody remembers, put it in the chat real quick before we leave, because I like to put his link in the thing. I like Tempe. Oh, cool. SJD News. Yeah. Last time Amanda spoke at the council meeting, I went there to back her up, but I couldn't ever find the damn city hall that I've been to a million times.
Well, next time I get down there to really mingle with you ladies, I really would love to have that chance and opportunity to work with you, as well as Acker, Amanda, and anybody else. So.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. And and I was talking to Joey the other day. He's supposed to be having a car soon, I think. I'm not sure when. But I'll talk to you and both you and Amanda about that. But I'm not sure when that'll be, and hopefully we can all get together. Because
absolutely.
I'm ready to do, not just willing. I'm ready to do some filming. It's been raining a lot here the last couple of days. All right, guys. Well, once again, thanks a lot for joining us. My name's American Amy.
And I'm Lady Justice, Liberty Press.
All right, guys. All right. Peace, guys. Catch y'all later. Thank you so much. And if you want to watch the hearing, I advise you to go back and watch it again because it's egregious. All right. Bye, guys.